All right, hey everybody, Mark Burgess here, Big East Bass Fishing. Appreciate you checking out another video. There's going to be more and more, obviously, coming from the boat barn, just coming to the end of the season here. Last event for me is really going to be this weekend. And then who knows, maybe a pickup on an event or two here in November, so we'll see. Possibly just do some regular fishing, fun fishing, middle of the day, pick a good day and head out. So that being said, this is kind of like an open-minded discussion on a few things that I've noticed that have been going on in the industry, okay? Anglers are finding their home, okay? I've talked about this in the past, not in maybe those exact words, but you know, I've talked about people who like to fish a certain way, forward-facing sonar. You know, are you getting beat by it? You know, is it your cup of tea? And now, you know, there's options, right? So you've always had options. So I've talked about in the past, you know, if you're fishing a trail, if you're on the fence with forward-facing sonar, the technology, and the group that you're fishing with uses it, and you don't, and you're getting beat by it, are you still having fun? Are you still enjoying yourself? Are you still learning? You have choices, right? Learn the technology and use it to compete against the guys that are using it against you, or go fish a different league, fish with a different group, guys that don't use it, okay? So that's becoming very obvious now. If you're following the pro side of fishing, you can, I mean, any social media, you're gonna see, I just listened to Andy Morgan, wrapped up his season, talk about what he's doing going forward. Luke Clausen, just to name a couple guys, okay? It coincides with the changes being made in the sport. MLF now, Bass Pro Tour, has gone to 51 guys. Okay, so there was more than that received an invitation to be in that top 50, okay? And they've settled in on 51, all right? Several of those guys received an invitation to continue to stay with the Bass Pro Tour and have declined it, okay? There's also a number of guys who have retired, all right? Skeet Reese being one of them. Listening to Andy Morgan talk about how he just was not having fun, he never really embraced the catch-all-you-can-catch format. Rules changed, entry fees went away, came back, money, coming off a poor season, didn't make any money, didn't have a lot of fun. He's going to the NPFL, all right? As a lot of guys are gravitating towards the NPFL. NPFL is on the rise. Why? They're kind of like a standalone deal. They're the first organization to ban forward-facing sonar. These guys have talked about talking to the people over there on the NPFL, and they love it. They get treated right. The money's good. They're having fun, all right? They're having fun, all right? So not everybody can be a John Cox, right? And continue to fish on the Elite Series and have fun. If you're getting beat tournament in and tournament out over and over again, and you're not qualifying for the Classic and you're not making checks, yeah, I mean, it's not fun, okay? Yes, at that level it is a job, but you still want to enjoy yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still fishing, right? So it's finally happened. you can go and fish where you want, maintain your sponsorship for the most part if you have good communications with those people and you're transparent. And will this work for you? Am I doing what you need me to do? Is this what I'm gonna plan on doing, work in your marketing plan? All those are conversations that these guys are having, right? So I think we're at a place now where, if you like where you're at, if you like fishing the Elite Series and you like the changes they've made, they're going to a limited forward-facing sonar schedule. Okay, they flipped a coin to decide what venues, lakes they were going to allow forward-facing sonar and what venues they were not going to allow forward-facing sonar. If that works for you, you're having fun, you're making money, your sponsors are happy, you're making a living, you're fishing, life's great. Okay, great. If not, MLF, if you're one of the 51 guys, and that, I think, if you're one of those 51 guys, you better like what you're doing. You're one of the 51, right? So that you obviously want to be there. If you received the invitation, you were good enough in that format, and you're there. It'd be kind of weird if you weren't happy, okay, and you accepted that invitation. NPFL. Are you making money? Are you having fun? Are you fishing the way you want to fish? I'm going to go out on a limb and say the majority of those guys, 100-something guys, are enjoying what they're doing. They are making money. Their sponsors are happy, and they like it there. I think the NPFL is going to be, they're going to have to come up with like a qualifying format. There's going to be so many people that want to get into that, right? So there's a deadline coming up where you have to basically apply. Even from the very beginning, you had to apply to be chosen to fish that format. I don't know what their structure is about staying there. If they reach that point where they don't want to have that many anglers, or they've got all the anglers they want, if the balance is right, the math works, then yeah, they're probably gonna have to come up with a qualifying structure if you want to stay there. Okay, like you see a lot of guys from B.A.S.S now. Speaking of B.A.S S, talking to Luke Clausen, Classic winner, he was going to go back to the Elite Series, but B.A.S S changed the rules. The Legends exemption now only applies to active Elite Series anglers that fall out of contention to come back. Okay, they didn't meet the criteria to requalify. If you're a Legend, past Classic champion, past AOI, then you can take that exemption. If you're not an active Elite Series angler, even though you are a past Classic champion or AOI, you can't just get back in. That was the case a while back, but not anymore. Okay, so Luke Clausen's going to the NPFL. I saw another, I can't think of the angler's name, Larson possibly. He's gonna fish, he's never fished this particular angler, never fished the B.A.S.S side, always been on the MLF side, or the FLW side, if you will, BFLs and Everstarts and all those, FLW Tour. And he's going to attempt to qualify for a Classic. He's qualified for numerous cups and so forth. So he's going to fish the Opens and try to qualify for a Classic and a berth into the Elite Series. So there's options out there. A lot of guys doing different things, but I got to say at this point right now, this off season, prior to the new season starting, possibly not every angler on those three tours, but it's probably got to be pretty close, right? So people are being, where they want to be, because they're satisfying their sponsorships. They're having fun. They're making money. It's a good mix for their family, you know, financially, traveling. A lot of things come into play when you're fishing full time and you're traveling on the road. Okay, so yeah, so I thought that was a worthy topic to talk about. Let me know your thoughts on that, and you know, possibly what would you do if you were in their shoes? The way you like to fish, where you like to fish. You know, I think it's an interesting topic for sure. And you know, does everybody have a home where they want to fish, and where they want to fish? So that's all for today. Appreciate you checking it out, and stay tuned for more. Like I said, I do have one more event. Lisa and I are fishing a tournament this weekend. I'll try to bring you as much as I can with that. I got to apologize for the last tournament. Dan Kenny and I fished. You know, Ben's Tackle Shack, Tony Alinsky's benefit tournament. Camera took a crap partway through the day, and you know, when you're in that tournament mode, you know, cast, next bite, next bite, next bite, next bite. I didn't have time to mess with it, so that's why I got what I got. So, all right, appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, have a great day, everybody.